Alright, so I may be a bit late on this, but this is the first chance I've had to see it. So just saw today at the IMAX Avatar The Way of Water, the second Avatar film, the long awaited, very long awaited sequel. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know whether I enjoyed this more or less than the first one. I think probably about the same. To be honest, in the fact that I did enjoy this film, but God, this did not need to be 3 hours long. Well, 3 hours and 12 minutes, although I think about 12 minutes of that is just credits. So, yeah, I had a sore back coming out of the IMAX when I came out because, oh, sitting there for that long. Yeah, it did not need to be that long. I'm going to make this as spoiler free as possible, but I will say if you enjoyed the first Avatar film, and if like me you hadn't seen it in a long time, I did watch the first film though last night before going to see this one just to refresh my memory, and I'm glad I did because if I didn't, then basically there would be a few moments, not a lot, but a few moments in this film where which would pop up, and I go, "Wait, who's that character?" Again, so yeah, pretty much, just regards to that. But yeah, it's a really visual spectacle as ever. And while I wouldn't say it was as much of a shock to the audience, that the original was in terms of, its visual aesthetics, I mean, this one does surpass it, but it's not going to blow you away quite as much as maybe the original did, though it did look absolutely incredible on there. So the visuals are still top notch, but the rest of the film industry has kind of caught up to what this film is capable of doing. But yeah, there's only, in terms of the film itself, again, to be as spoiler free as possible, I'd say the film's biggest problem is its third act, or more specifically, its climax, third act, which just goes on and on and on. I swear, the climax to this film is the final hour of this film because it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Every time you think it's over, nope, it's not. It just continues going on and on. I mean, it's a good visual spectacle, and that, and any one of the scenarios in this final sort of climax in this film would have been, satisfying enough. But it just kind of goes on, and you kind of know that our characters aren't like it tries to pretend that, oh, all of our main characters are in deep peril, which we know is not going to be the case because, well, there's a third Avatar film coming out in 2024. So yeah, basically, you know I mean, that's a minor spoiler, but if you couldn't guess it, like, yeah, people are basically safe and stuff like that. But I will say what this film did do, I think, a bit better than the previous film was character development. At least, of the characters it did focus on, which, isn't that many considering this has quite a large cast of characters. It doesn't focus on that many characters, uh, to be honest. And I think you'd think, a film this long, it had plenty of time, but it does feel at times it's maybe trying to juggle a little bit too much at once. I mean, for example, all minor spoiler alert, although it's in the title, but partway through the partway through the film, we then go to a different location. We go to a water location, hence the title, where the people have adapted to the water rather than the forest, and that hence where the title comes from. And we never see the forest people again after that. Yeah, we never see the forest people again, and also they stop going after the forest people. Presumably after that, we don't actually know because we never see or hear from them again. And whereas in the first film, they were after unobtainium, and the only reason I know that is because of how, on the nose the name is. That's not what they're after in this film. No, they're after something completely different and unrelated to the unobtainium in the first film, which I thought was the whole point. And also this time around as well, they're, you know, rather than just, getting these elements and bringing them back to Earth, instead they seem to be trying to set up more of a human colony on the planet. So there's a lot of things there just kind of feel kind of half baked, and a few things in there that you kind of tell just like, yeah, this is kind of leaving it for the sequel type of thing. But I will say, in terms of, it does do some good stuff in terms of visual storytelling, and I do like the fact that, for the most part, this film does take its time a lot more in the pacing. I'd say the first 2 hours of the film are actually pretty well paced. I was really enjoying it. It just feels like the final sort of act, the final climax, again, which I don't know if it does go on for an hour, but it certainly felt like it. It just felt like all of like the action stuff and everything was just left until the very, very end, because up until that point there's not a lot of it. Up until that point there's not a lot of it. Maybe a little bit at the beginning, but other than that, yeah, it just kind of felt like it was all the possible action sequences and that and everything throughout the film was just kind of saved for that final sort of hour. But yeah, I'd say if you enjoyed the first film to any degree, or if you haven't seen the first film in a while, like I have, yeah, it does look really good. And basically, if you're looking for deep, the deep inner meaning storytelling, or if you think, or if you now have a disdain for the first film because, oh, well, its story, wasn't the most unique thing in the world, then yeah, you're gonna, basically, whatever you thought of the first film, you're gonna think of about this film as well. But, I personally, I just enjoy them. I think it's not a film I'd, constantly go back to, but every once in a while, yeah, I do enjoy it. So that's my quick thoughts on that.